Well, got out this morning checking a few traps. We finally got another one of these corn bandits. He down here just keeping a close eye on my feeder. He is. But that ain't the only corn he'll be keeping a close eye on. Come back next May, June, July, won't you? He'll make a fine hat, won't he? You gonna be a hat one day? He said he wanted to be a hat one day. Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirited Outdoors. We're gonna tan this raccoon that you saw me catch here recently. I've already skinned him. I've got him on this flashing beam and I'm flashing him. And I'm gonna drop the camera down and show you flashing him a little bit while I talk to you. Let me pull the camera up a little bit closer. One of the most important parts of tanning fur is getting it fleshed good. And the reason I mention this is because it's something I struggled with when I first started. I did this part right here and I got all this meat off and I thought, well, that's good, but it's not. You won't get a good quality hide doing that way. Now I know there's a lot of you that didn't struggle with this, but I did. Number one, I was using that little cheap dull flashing knife, and it just wasn't getting all the stuff off. So once you get like that meat, and I'm raking my blade off, you want to keep your blade clean. You don't want to be slicing. You want a fairly sharp knife, but you want to push. Now right here under these arms is very thin. I have been subject to tear holes in that. You probably will too if you keep doing it long enough. Or probably right off the bat. Now this was a big male coon. You know what we're working around down here. But you see right there, all of that fat and stuff has got to come off. Now you see when I push right down through here, you see all that building up? That's got to come off. Even after this thing looks like it is done, I go down through there and you see all that fat? Now that's good for curing your beam and all here. Rub your hand off on your post over here. It'll help cure your post and all. But it's got to come out of that hide. So that was one of the things that I struggled with. Now, so we want to get this fleshed real good. I'm going to go over it. And I'll tell you right now what I'm going to do while I'm finishing this up while I'm talking. Because I'm not going to try to talk through the whole thing, I don't reckon. So what I'm going to do is flesh this out really good. And I'm going to put it in a bucket of salt. Or I got a little tray looking thing over here. I'll show you in a minute when I put it in there. And I'm going to salt it for a few days to help draw out any more of this fat and help set the hair in it. I've got a couple that I have already done. I had started filming on one and the footage is just so spaced out and here, there, and I hadn't had time to really work on it. I'm going to delete it, just start over with this coon so we can go start to finish on one coon. And another thing, one of them, they laid over there and that salt got moist when I had them in it, and I'm scared one of them, the hair's gonna slip, and I don't want it to do that on this video. I'm gonna still attempt to tan them because they might not. It's just when I went to check that salt one day, it was moist, and I'm like, I don't know. So you have to be careful of that kind of stuff. These go all the way down, but you just want to make sure that you get all this membrane. You see that stringy looking stuff? And I don't know how well y'all can see in the camera, but when I pull it up like that, you can, well, it hasn't come off yet. But it's got to come off. You can see it there. So you can see stuff still coming off. So keep your knife blade clean. That's why I've got this crossbar part on here. I rake my knife on there like that, cleans that edge for me. So anyway, I'm gonna go over this, finish getting this fleshed as good as I want it, to where I'm happy with it. And then I'm gonna salt it. And after I am done salting it, I am gonna flesh it again, okay? But we close. There's a little bit of stuff right on there, and I've got to go over this head just a little bit. So, but a lot of times I'll trim that with a, let me do it now before I forget. So I've got this tray full of salt, and normally I pack that in there, but I think what I'm gonna do today, being I've got 2 of these over here, and I want to be able to move it around. I've got a bunch of salt that I got cleaning out my salt box in my smokehouse, and I need to do something with all of it. So I'm gonna go in this 5-gallon bucket right here. All right, so I got that like that. I'm gonna take my hide and put it down in there real good, and I've got a buck tail right there that I was. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit in there. I want to spread that. I want to make sure my fur is on the inside. Now this is gonna drain a little bit, so it would be good if that had some. I'm gonna dump the rest of that out. See, I got a buck's tail right here I'm doing. So anyway, there we go. Salt, salt, salt. It's imperative that you get the hair set in these pelts if you're gonna tan them, and you want hair on. Doing buckskin don't matter. So we're gonna let this set for a little while. We'll pick y'all back up in a few more days. Okay, y'all, we're gonna get this coon skin out of this salt. Let's see what it looks like. Should be most of the stuff soaked out of it. What we're gonna do right here, I'm gonna go straight into a pickle. This I have showed in my other videos, and I have got some other animals in this. There's a couple of foxes in here that I'm pickling. And when you go into a pickle, it can stay in there. You don't, once you get it in that, you're not worried about time. And really with the salt, you ain't, as long as this can, you got enough. Like if you just barely sprinkle some salt over something and lay it on a board or in a little tray, and you don't have a lot of salt, you can't leave it a long time. As much salt as I had, it can stay in there a couple of weeks. It ain't going, you salted that hide down, it's killing the bacteria, it's preserving it. So what this is there's a good bit of salt in here. I did put a little bit of borax this time just to kind of help wash and help with the bugs and such as that. It's not necessary. It does have its benefits. And then aluminum sulfate. And there's about a cup of each one, and I've got about 3.5 gallons of water. And I probably added a little more, but you see we just went straight in there. Now when we come out of this, we'll reflesh everything really good, because it will be a pickle that hide, it'll be a little tougher. And I can get a little more aggressive with that without tearing it. Y'all, I pulled this coon hide out of the pickle. I've had it, it's been in that pickle for a couple of weeks, actually. And it's warming up. Actually, it's been in there about 3 weeks. I just ain't had time to fool with it. So what I done is I pulled it out of there and I put it in clean water and washed it good. And I left it in there about 30 minutes to an hour, let it neutralize. And then I put it on the fleshing beam and I refleshed over it. And you can see it's got some thickness on there. So I turned it, I did this yesterday evening now. I turned it hair side out and hung it on a nail here and let it dry. And you see this is still good and limber. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna put it down here and we're gonna tan it with an orange bottle. I had 2 more in there and I pulled them out and they just didn't. Anyway, what I done is I threw 2 more coons in another bucket, and I didn't realize it, and the solution had done weakened down from doing a couple of hides, and that you can't do that. So anyway, It's a little bit warm today. It's about 80 degrees. This bottle's been sitting out here. It is at room temperature. A lot of people are going to tell you that this orange bottle don't work. This is the high tannin formula, the deer hunter and trappers. And I'll be honest with you, I hadn't went through the instructions on the back. I never worried about the instructions on the back because tannin is tannin and has its own set of rules. This is basically, I use it for a tannin solution. So I pickled this, I fleshed it. We to here. All I'm gonna do is rub this in there. Oh, I've seen a lot of people, and let me get y'all up here close. There's a lot of people in them tanning groups on Facebook that swear this is awful stuff. And I really, honest to God, y'all, I don't know what the problem is. If they just, I don't know. I really don't. I have tanned a bunch of stuff with this. And I think they get on there and think because this is, I don't know. They don't follow basic tanning instructions, and I don't know. I ain't read all that on the bottle. I know it says something about salt in it, but I'm just rubbing this in there. Like the Murphy's oil soap and stuff like that you saw me do, and that is you see all that stuff getting on there. I'm not worried about that because I'll run this. I'm gonna reflesh this when I start breaking it. I'll start breaking it on my fleshing beam. So you want to make sure you put a good liberal amount of that on there. I don't know if maybe them people that don't like it ain't putting enough tannin solution or what they doing wrong. But with the Murphy's oil soap, I like to soak them buckskins in a solution overnight and do that a couple of times. Well, with hair on, I have not had good luck doing that. You want to steer away from soaking hair on in anything that ain't full of salt as much as possible in pickle. Now, you could put your tannin solution in with that pickle and get away with it. I have not tried that method. But we're gonna put a good liberal coating on here because I got plenty of this stuff. The reason I like this is, honest to God, with this, you really ain't got to smoke the hide. That is the thing I like about it. And I may smoke it anyway. I don't know. I've got some other stuff to smoke, so I ain't just sitting here telling you I ain't gonna smoke it, but it ain't really a requirement. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna get all this rubbed in real good massage. We're gonna turn it hair out, roll it up, and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator, okay? Just that easy. And grab him by his nose right here. We're gonna turn him out. Let me see if I can get that. Them feet's the hardest thing. Oh, I got him right there. All right. All right. You see how we got him right like this? I'm gonna start at his nose. And I'm gonna roll him up right there just like that. And we're gonna put him in a bag and I'm gonna stick him in my refrigerator tonight. And then we'll get it out and we'll break it in the next few days. Either tomorrow or the next day. It'll be all right. You don't want to leave it in there no week now. You don't just leave this in the refrigerator. It'll start hair slipping and whatnot like that. So put this in there. We're gonna get it out and stretch it here in a little bit. Y'all, I got this coon hide out. And right here, I've got an old axe head. It is not sharp, okay? Not sharp at all. And I'll start working it over it. Also, it's a little damp. It needs dry. I've put it back in. I got it out yesterday, let it dry a while, and I put it back in the refrigerator. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it over this. Now, when I get through doing that some, try to get where y'all can see good. Right here, I've got a cable in this doorway. And I'll do it like that. Flip it over. So you just basically want to keep stretching this hide. However you want to stretch it. This axe head is, to me, is one of the greatest. It and the cable, by far the best. So that's really all there is to that. From this point on, y'all, it's just a lot of working this and staying with it. I come out here and I work it every little bit, and I'll hang it up here on the hook and let it air dry some. But this axe head, and it'll tan that hide. So I'm gonna keep doing this periodically through the day. And I'll show you one other thing that I'm bad to do. Y'all, I'll slip this back down on my flashing beam. And I take my sharp knife, but I take the back side. And y'all, that'll stretch that hide a lot and break fibers. Now be careful with it, obviously. And anything that may be left on there, be careful around these underarms. Same as when you're fleshing it. You see it's squeegeeing a lot of moisture out. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's running down that. I'm squeegeeing that out of there. And there's some stuff still peeling off up here, and that is another reason I do it like this. Anything that you missed, it'll get out of it. It's also a good way to go around this head good. And I don't never flesh around that head good. I struggle, y'all, with that. And I do think fleshing is a very important, crucial factor in getting this right. I do not think I am a professional at this by any means. I'm just showing you kind of how I do things for the projects that I want to make something out of, whatnot. But we'll keep working this. All right, y'all, I am still coming out here and just working this every once in a while, and it is about dry. Oh, it's probably gonna go into the night. Coming out here and doing this to get it finished. Oh, it is not completely dry. And it would probably do better if I was just working it constantly. And I have few little spots. There's been a little bit of hair come out, not much, but not enough to worry about. But now here in the South, it's a lot. There's a time frame on when you skin something. When you kill it, you better be getting it skinned. But this back, very thick. But all you gotta do is just keep working it. You'll soften it up. As you can see, this is not as supple as I want it, so we're gonna keep stretching on it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I done had to leave and go do about 3 different things today. I thought today I'd be here all day. Well, guess what? It never works out that way for me. So I struggle with hides because I have so much going on. You really need to be here where you know that, hey, I've got all day to work with this, and that's the ideal way. I really don't have that, and probably never will. But the hide is still going to be tanned. It is just not going to be as soft as I wanted it to because it dried a little faster in between while I was gone the last time. What happened is I had a uncle call, said I got some chicken feed piled up on the ground we're going to have to throw away in chicken houses. So I went and loaded me up a truck bed full of chicken feed. So, you know, you can't complain about that kind of stuff. So anyway. And I know there's a bunch of old homestead people that say, oh, ain't no way I'd be using commercial chicken feed when I feed my chickens. And I think they think that everything commercial is bad. Actually, it's probably improved and better than what you're buying, if you want to know the truth. But the next thing with chickens, same as plants, a whole lot of what you feeding them ain't gonna harm you. If it's gonna harm you, it's gonna harm the chicken. As long as your chickens are staying healthy, I wouldn't worry about what they're eating. There's a few places right here I'm peeling these tags off. So y'all, I'm gonna keep working this on and off. I got my cable right here. And I'm leaning back into it. That's the thing about a coon hide, is this a thick hide, you just about ain't gonna hurt it. So anyway, see, I'm working that head. I can get this a lot softer than what I've got it right now. So just hang with me. We'll get it done. All right, y'all, I about got this coon. You see it's pretty supple. Turn it right side out. I just wanted to see how soft the hide and all is gotten. And it's got a dark color to it. It almost looks like it has been smoked. But now that is one of the things I like about that orange bottle. And it's a little stiff. Ugh. I hate turning these things back right side out. That is always a chore to me. Probably because they ain't soft as they ought to be. But now it's soft for what I'm going to do. It is plenty soft now. Some of you's quality may be above what but anyway, it is good enough. You see that. Turned out good. So hey, thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Tanning your own fur. Y'all get you a coon hide. Follow them steps. The orange bottle works just as good as anything else. So thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all.